Hey guys, welcome back to another Friday Fireside chat. Hope you've had a great week so far and enjoying this Friday. Making some progress on healing that inner child, facing, accepting, acknowledging, forgiving, seeing, valuing, honoring, enjoying your inner child. In each new layer that you uncover in self-discovery, your true joy, your true connectedness and belonging, your flow state, your natural gift to the world. Everyone has it, regardless of if you're on a parenting journey or not, As I said before, I think most people need reparenting these days. It's just a matter of degree. And so, thanks for taking some time for yourself and for joining me also on this process. This week, the theme is healing the childhood wounds. I'm starting that today, facing those. A lot of those wounds can be from neglectful parents or from trauma that has happened growing up that we did not have the resources or the support to process at the time. These things can pile up. If you're not aware of the ACE study, I think we've mentioned that a few times, but check that out, the ACE study in relation to childhood trauma. So there's a certain score of a number of events that you've been through in your life that during childhood that can increase your risk for certain physical health issues. And so why is that important? Because it's kind of a benchmark, I guess you could say, for our wounding. It does not cover every type of wounding, but it definitely can open your eyes to the consequences and why it's important to take this seriously. And so as we look at our wounds, we can think of the wound of abandonment. So this can start even in the womb, prenatal. Maybe your mother was emotionally abused or in a stressful situation. That impacts the chemicals in her body in the womb, that affects your development, even starting as in pre-fetus, whatever this biology is. I'm not really a science person. So we have to think about maybe this is the beginning point of the abandonment. And so that means you have a lot of pre-verbal memories of feeling sensations that you have to work through. And it's important to know that you don't need to recall all of those. It's just good to have the awareness that some of the abandonment melange, those feelings, emotional flashbacks you have can be coming back from like a pre-verbal, pre-memory time. Or perhaps your parent died, or there was a divorce, or you lost a significant number of your family at once. These are all felt by the child as abandonment. And when there is no support, then often this blame turns inwardly, and the child begins to believe that it's their fault, they were defective, or perhaps they brought it on. There are many different kinds of abandonment, and this is probably one of the most profound wounds that I think many, many people are dealing with today. That's why dating scene is such a cluster right now. Another one is maybe the fear of rejection, because your parents did not really see you, value your personality, or accept you for who you were. And so many people now are also fearing vulnerability, being less direct, less open. People don't trust each other as much. So, as you're going through this reparenting journey, it's a struggle that you're having, yes. You're not alone, not only in the sense that people who were not parented are dealing with this, but this is a larger societal shift. So remind yourself that you are also healing in a difficult time in terms of connection. There's a loneliness epidemic, literally. And so give yourself some patience and understanding there. That's one thing to remember. Another common one is maybe the feelings of low self-esteem or low self-worth that come from the lack of nurturing or emotional neglect. Childhood emotional neglect, when your parents do not meet you emotionally to cover your emotional needs, then you lose touch with your emotions, your true self. You are not then developing co-regulation, the ability to learn to regulate your emotions. That's also something that has to be picked up within the reparenting process. And it's frustrating when you have all of this and you're trying to look at your parents and say they did the best they could. Sometimes that's difficult to believe, and it's something I'm still trying to sort out now, but in line with the serenity prayer, that's not something I can change. It's not something I can control or influence. It is what it is, and it was what it was. And if they are still running with the same story and gaslighting and manipulation, then you have to just go forward and trust yourself. And I know that's so much harder, much easier said than done. when you've had this kind of background of emotional manipulation and control from the beginning. But you have to find a way to find grounding in yourself to begin to build that, because it is something that other people can easily exploit. And here we're trying to help you learn how to protect yourself. So the first thing is to have that internal grounding and safety. And so we'll continue to give you more lessons and insights and tips on that. But facing those wounds is painful journey. We've only discussed a few of them today, but there are so many, and different kind of woundings that can happen from different experiences. And I'd just like to remind yourself to give yourself patience. Remember to slow down, to feel, disconnect from distractions, and allow yourselves to really process these emotions, because they pass. Those emotions are not who you are. They're not your identity. I am not what happened to me. I am who I choose to become. Carl Jung. Don't forget that. The emotions will pass as soon as you face them. And then your life will blossom from there. That's it for today. Thanks for being here, and have a great weekend, guys.